So, Mom, I remember that you always liked Fresno. Fresno was one of your favorite towns. But I was born there, and Lamar was born there, but we didn't live there. I think you lived in Fresno?
I live in Canto Creek.
Yeah, but I think you lived at Fresno for a little while after you got the job for as a was it public health nurse for Fresno County? And didn't you rented a room for Mrs. Peterson?
Yeah.
And
Well,
for a little while, and Tommy Takahashi was one of your friends. I think she had a room there as well. She was one of your good friends, right?
she had it out. I think they lived out in the country, and her parents did farming or something like that.
Tommy Takahashi's family?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. But when you got married, you moved out to Cantua Creek. And
Yeah, I was married
in August of 1954, and then Lamar was born. I think you still lived in Cantua Creek, but he was born in Fresno, in town.
They didn't have any doctors and.
Yeah, it was kind of out in the country. And then when I was born, you guys had moved to the little town of Plainview, which is just outside of Porterville. And Daddy was the pastor of the little church there. And I know that the Hortons, James and Bessie, James J. Horton and Bessie, who were from Mississippi, but they were like your parents away from home.
Yeah.
And but that's where you guys were living when I was born, was in Plainview. And then when I was about 1 year old is when we moved to Porterville. And then you stayed there for an awful long time, from 1960 until about 2008. You stayed there for a long time. So, Mama, where did you live when you were first born?
Out in the country with the Grandma Walter's place. It was a house down the road from where she lived. It was dirt road in those days. And
what was the community called? Did it have a name? It was outside of Meridian, but...
Well, it was... I really can't think of it, but I know it was...
I meant that from... I'm not sure what the neighborhood was called, but...
Oh, it's Nellyburg.
Nellyburg, that's right. Yeah.
We didn't call it that. We called it something else.
But that was... that's more accurate than saying Meridian, because it was outside of Meridian.
About 6 or 7 miles out in the country.
Nellyburg, I've heard that before.
Yeah, Nellyburg. Did I say it?
You did. How long did you live there?
Well, my daddy had gone over to Louisiana to get a job, and he got one.
Doing what?
Huh?
What was he doing?
He was working in the oil fields.
Okay. When did he do that? How old were you when he did that?
I was just very little. I don't know if I was born in Louisiana or Mississippi.
You were born in Mississippi.
I don't think it, maybe I think Sarah was born.
But when did your dad go over to Louisiana to work? You were small?
Yeah. Well,
and he went without you at first? Or did you all move?
I don't know, I was born I was in Mississippi, and in Louisiana, because Daddy was working at the oil fields, and I went back. They didn't want me to be born in Louisiana. They took me back to Mississippi. I think that's what they did. Anyhow.
So then when you went to school, where did you go to school?
Overnight.
That was in elementary school. How about high school?
Meridian High School,
How about college?
college. We had, the first 2 years I had, they had put in a, college, another one that it was like I don't know how I happened to
A
be
junior
there.
college?
Huh?
A junior college?
Yeah, that was it, I think.
And where was that? Was that in Meridian?
Yeah, they had a Meridian, junior college.
Well, and you went there.
Yeah,
And tell me, what was Mattie Hersey?
Mattie Hersey was a, hospital for the poor people. Didn't have any money to buy it, and that's where my grandma Walters died. Cause she didn't have any money, and when she died when she was at the Mattie Hersey Hospital.
Okay. Now, didn't you end up having some connection with Mattie Hersey Hospital?
Huh?
Didn't you end up having some sort of connection with that hospital too?
Yeah,
What did you do?
I really don't remember.
When did you decide to become a nurse?
I think I started at Mattie Hersey.
Okay.
Tim.
So we're talking about your education. How old were you when you decided to be a nurse? Were you working towards being a nurse when your mother died, or did you not do that till after she died?
After she died.
Okay. Do you know how long after? Because she died when you were 19, so it was,
She did?
yes, in 1939, before your birthday. So, where did you do your nurse's training? Did you start at Mattie Hersey Hospital?
Oh, yeah. The doctors and nurses, they taught me how to take care of patients. My grandma Walters died in Mattie Hersey
Yeah.
because she didn't have any.
Tell me about what that was like when you were in nurse's training at the hospital, because didn't you live there?
I lived at the hospital.
You worked whenever they told you to. Is that how that worked?
I guess they did.
Do you know how long how long did you stay there?
Mattie Hersey,
Yeah. Was it just 1 year or 2 years?
I think the word two sounds.
So did you become a registered nurse after working there, or did you have to go somewhere else to complete your education?
I had to go to Nashville, Tennessee to get some training to
And
be a nurse.
do you remember the name of the school that you went to there in Nashville?
Yeah,
What was it called?
I can't remember it.
I don't remember either. But then you went to school in Cleveland, Ohio.
That was for me to get a last 2 years of college.
Okay, and that was at Case Reserve.
And I came back down to Mississippi, and the man who told us I need to get some training, brother and Mrs. Horton was Cantua Creek. They were the helpers to take them.
That comes later, though. So after you finished your schooling in Cleveland, you were a registered nurse, and you wanted to be a foreign missionary, right?
Yeah.
And so then you ended up going down to New Orleans to the Baptist Theological Seminary to get training, and you wanted to become a foreign missionary. Who did you meet when you were in New Orleans?
I met my husband to be.
Oh.
He was from the next county over, from where I lived in Meridian, Newton County.
Yeah.
And he was there, he was going to be a minister, and so he had to go down to New Orleans Seminary too.
So what kind of things did you do when you were in the seminary?
We had to practice. We had to get we had to practice taking care of people.
I remember you talking about on the weekends they would send little teams out that would go and preach and lead singing at small churches and stuff, and that you and Daddy were on teams that would do that sometimes. And you played the piano and he would preach. You remember?
We must have gone out to Cantua Creek.
No, this was in New Orleans. This was in Louisiana before you came to California. So, as far as becoming a foreign missionary, I understand you ended up not kind of being disappointed about not being able to do that because they said you didn't have experience. But what I always remember you saying when I was younger is that because you had a thyroid problem, your medical condition, they didn't want to send you to a foreign country. So you ended up instead being a summer missionary to California. And that's when you first came out to California in about 1953.